All right, so moving on, we're at the third commandment or third rule of the Dialogue Decalogue. Each participant must come to a dialogue with complete honesty and sincerity. Conversely, each participant must assume a complete honesty and sincerity in their partners. So the two that I want you to answer are, why is the rule easy and why is the rule important? The one that was provided for you is, this rule could be hard because sometimes we are not entirely sure how to fully present ourselves because of fear of judgment. Protecting my thoughts often feels easier than truly being open, which naturally makes me more vulnerable. So that is a reason why this rule could be hard to follow. But why is it easy to both be honest and sincere and assume that honesty and sincerity in the others? And why is the rule important? Fourth commandment, fourth rule, in interreligious, inter-ideological dialogue, we must not compare our ideals with our partner's practice, but rather our ideals with our partner's ideals, our practice with our partner's practice. So this means we can't compare beliefs to behavior, but rather beliefs to beliefs and behavior to behavior, especially when we are at the beginning of a conversation and when we are at the beginning of understanding the beliefs and the practices of the other person, or the beliefs and practices of our own tradition. Remember, go back to rule 2. So again, I'm asking you to tell me why the rule is easy and why the rule is important. In this case, for why it's difficult, previous student wrote, I can sometimes forget that what I believe may not be how I act. And when in a conversation, I can find myself comparing what I believe to what someone else is doing, even if I may do the same thing. Overall, judging people is easy, as is making assumptions about their beliefs or actions, or how they could be in the same, or how they should be the same in all situations, even knowing that isn't the case. Cognitive dissonance plays a role in this as well. And so this idea that who we are is accurate, that our beliefs and our practices match up 100%. Majority of the time they do not. So think about that as you write why the rule is easy and why it is important. So for the fifth rule, each participant must define himself. Conversely, the one interpreted must be able to recognize themselves in that interpretation. So this one's a little bit unique because I'm asking you to tell me why it's easy and hard, but I want to go ahead and give you a little thought process here. Do you always know how to define who you are? Do you always find that the way you define yourself doesn't seem to match what people think? Think about language and all the connotations, or the way language changes, or how in different regions defining yourself one way or another way can have implications that you may or may not have known. Similarly, think about how you do know yourself, how you have these labels or these statements that define who you are. So why is this important? This is important to the study of religion as it helps us know where our biases may be. This previous student wrote, further, it is a step in expanding beyond the self. Further, it is a step in expanding beyond the self is to grasp what yourself is at its core. When we know who we are or aren't, then in the study we will be able to acknowledge similarities and differences more easily. Further, in following this rule, when others encounter us, we will be able to more clearly state the position from which we are coming from, because they can see that definition in them. I need to go back and fix some of these. All right, so we'll pick up in a moment with task 5, which goes through rules 6 through 10.